getting to know. Live chat, expressing and experience life, relating Convo number 5.
Shopping, getting fruits, daily life. Y'all gotta pay attention to that. Just because it's cartoon, y'all be lying all this stuff, you know what I mean? And people are going about their life, daily life. And while that smoke traveling all the way through town until it got into his nostril, right? But what else am I saying? Pay attention, there's daily life going on. You think them people seen that spell trap all the way through town? No. So in real physical life, people go over there and they go try to do spells or whatever and get something done. Like, you know how they go up to a person and they'll pray, right? They'll just be like, all right, let me pray for you. And like this, quiet. And they'll be like, all right, we're done. You be like, man, that's it. None of that, that's it. And all you hear him say is, amen, whatever. Well, while he was praying telepathically, you know what I'm saying, in the mind, that's really strong. That's really a strong way to actually, send your prayers through as well, what you would call it. Man, I had a whole other thing come up. I had about like 7 things come to my mind right now. I ain't gonna lie. I was saying that while he was praying and all that, you ain't see nothing, right? Now, let's take it back to the form of the cartoon, in Disney. You know how let's just put it in that way so we can imagine. That's why I say imagination is one of the main keys to stay connected with the Father Most High. So while he was praying and he wouldn't say nothing, and all you heard him say, amen. All right, now let's go back to the cartoon with how I said about the smoke trap town. I will imagine a cartoon, one of them cartoons where like a witch or something, right? And they started doing one of their powers. You see all that smoke come up out of nowhere. They actually do a spell or whatever on the cartoon. You actually see the smoke, actually see the power come out, and you actually, when they done with their spell cast, whatever, you actually see it go and hit the target on the cartoon, right? All that commotion that you see witch do, and then finally through his power, and then you see the power actually go to the target. Well, imagine all that's really, really, really happening. That's really, really going on actually in the spirit realm. You just can't see that. Well, that's how that works. That's the reason why they make cartoons. The reason why they make the Disney, they're showing you this is what's happening in the spirit realm. And you gotta understand the reason why it's cartoon, because it's imagination, creativity, fantasy, right? And what is creativity? What is fantasy? Whatever, man. That's spirituality, something that we cannot touch. You know what I mean? So that's why I say anything that we cannot grab, get a hold of ourselves, taste, touch, all that in the physical form, but it exists and it can happen, like miracles and all that, that has to do and consists of only spirituality, the spirit realm. That's why I say, for human beings, you know what I'm saying? Because I was about to say something, but like, for human beings, you need to understand 2 realms. It's gonna be spiritual and physical. Like, wow, I've been saying this for the longest since I was young. But for humans, it's spiritual, it's physical realm. The reason why I say that first is because most of the humans that ain't woke, even try to wake up, really try to see what's really going on. They're barely waking up now. They're still in the physical. And that would be AKA.